special guest, Joe Horstmann, with us today. Joe, how we doing?
Hi, I'm great. Got a workout in this morning. Great.
Feeling good?
Going to Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire tonight.
Oh, yeah. Boogie nights,
so
baby.
So this is going to be a great day.
Sounds like a good time. Got his festive shirt on for it.
Well, I might change. This is my afternoon attire. So.
Well, so for those who don't know Joe, he is a local business owner here in Highland. He owns Horstmann. Is it Premier Financial or is it just Horstmann Financial?
We can cut out. Officially, it's Horstmann Premier Financial, but simplify is fine.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business here in town?
Okay. So I've been in the financial industry for 16 years. 11 years ago, I went independent and have an office here in town. We go with a lot of the Dave Ramsey philosophy on investing and trying to keep debts down, so that there's a big emphasis on that. And we help out individuals, business owners, do group plans, pretty much the full shelf of investments.
Sweet. And, through work is how I've got to know Joe. We were in a business group that's been 9 years.
Book club?
Book club. Was Book club?
It was Book Club.
Not anymore.
Formerly known as Book Club. We still don't have a name for it, by the way.
Yeah, Monday.
So if anyone's out
Monday
there,
group.
give us some ideas.
So, but anyways, we've known each other, and then Joe started working out with us at Pulse in 2016.
After relentless pressure. No, I'm kidding. There was no pressure.
And then from 2016, everything was great. You did really well, and then in 2019, you actually had an injury and a little bit of a setback. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I have had back problems pretty much my whole life, and back in that 2019 range, definitely aggravated it trying to move some heavy pallets, and about a week later found myself in the ER, had a herniated disc into my sciatic. I was in the ER at Barnes, I was in the ER at Highland, clearly working out at Pulse, and ended up having to go through some pretty traumatic downtime, 5 weeks staring at the ceiling, literally laying on my back because I could not move. Probably a 10 out of 10 on the pain threshold. It really took me out of things for months.
Yeah. And I remember that, time that you were going through that. Like I said, before that happened, you had a lot of success. You lost quite a bit of weight. And then during your downtime, unfortunately put most of that weight back on, correct?
Yes. I think I had lost about 35 pounds just through being active in the gym. And then, you get away from it. For one, the consistency of being there and being around those influences aren't there. But you start coming back, and then you realize you're right back where you were. And that hopeless, I don't want to say hopeless, but very frustrating to go backwards due to an injury, which I can't be the only one that happens to.
No. Unfortunately, injuries just happen. As we get older, these things happen. People go through injuries all the time.
Is it age 40? Is that okay? Because that's
people
what
have been telling me for the last 10 years, and now I hit 40, so we're going to find out real soon if it's.
Haven't we kind of already started?
Did we
finding out different little things?
My shoulder hurts sitting here right now, so
I slept wrong last night. My neck won't move. Sorry.
So, yeah, maybe I've had a few things sneak up that I just don't want to admit yet.
Just a couple.
Not giving you guys the satisfaction of telling me when you hit 40, just wait.
Just fight it.
I'm fighting the fight. But anyways, throughout your injury, we got you back into the gym about 8 months, maybe down.
Yes, finally came back. Very light duty. It took. Once I came back, it probably took 3 years for me to not have to mention my back or things like that. So it's...
Yeah. And the unfortunate part was you went literally 3 years, no running, no golfing, no softball. All the things that you truly enjoyed were really pretty well stripped away from you as far on a physical standpoint, right?
Yes.
And we went through a long list of things to try to get you better, and really finally found out it was just a weak core. And once we really dedicated a lot of time to core work, things have changed pretty dramatically.
Yep. I think just vocalizing, I feel like I remember you saying, listen to your body, which I don't think not just me, but other people might ignore some of them signs. And once you started reinforcing that, you want to push and push and push. Even like with running, sometimes I would push through something that I was feeling, and it's not the smartest thing to do, because then you're set back 2-3 weeks because of something that you could have just stopped and walked or went back the other way. So
yeah. So the good news is, since we've strengthened your core, got you back physically doing really well. And then, over the last year and a half, we've had the opportunity to work together on the transformation program. And Joe is the first person that we ever got to do this.
I like to consider myself a pioneer, Jeff.
He's our test pilot.
Yes. Test
Guinea
pilot.
pig. Okay.
Guinea
that's
pig,
fine.
all the things. But I can't thank you enough for trusting us to go through this with no social proof whatsoever going into it. I just knew that you were going to be a perfect fit for this if you committed to it, that we could make a lot of changes that you were looking to make. Because even though you were back into the gym, you still hadn't made any of the nutritional changes, the lifestyle habits, everything else was still kind of lost.
Yep.
So let's get into, over the past, I guess it's been a little over a year, closer to probably a year and a half.
I think September might be 2 years, or
I-
October, somewhere in there.
Did we start? Okay.
I would say he was 2020, late 2022.
Yeah, because we went several months of.
I
going
am
through
the
something.
absolute worst when it comes to remembering days, times, years. I'm amazed when I talk to
I don't
people.
think I've ever noticed that about you.
I never have.
All right, this isn't the roast.
Oh, never mind.
I didn't open up the door for you guys. I was self-admitting.
Sorry. I definitely think it was late 2022, because that's when we were working on the process.
I think it was like that last quarter of that year for sure.
Okay, so, well, shit. It's been almost 2 years then. How about that?
Yes, close.
But there's been a lot of great changes over the last 2 years since we started this process together. And it's been amazing. And that's why you're here today, is to hopefully, share your experience, some of the struggles that you've had, and then what's different today than it was, 2 years ago before we started this, or even as you've gone through the journey, because it's been a continuous thing for you. It wasn't just like 12 weeks, boom, I'm done.
No, it lifestyle change, like it doesn't end, is and it's work. It's the biggest thing. Is you have to be committed, and sometimes throw yourself in the fire. Like, I wanted to be held accountable. When you got to show up and answer tough questions, not everybody wants to do that. I knew that would be what kept me on the right track. But
so let's kind of backtrack and think of all the things that you've done in your lifetime prior to this to try to become healthier.
Okay. Pretty much nothing consistent until this program started. It's been the roller coaster, typical, I don't have the body style that I don't have that frame from when I was a senior in high school, and same clothes. So throughout, my adult life, it's been closet changes and, different pant sizes and stuff. And prior to getting in the profession that I'm in right now, I worked inside of a grocery store and had access to everything in a grocery store. So if you can imagine someone who enjoys food and doesn't work out, my lunch would be anything that I wanted. And we had a grill out back, so it'd be nothing to, make a hamburger that was a half a pound thick, and then 2 bags of chips, and, donut sticks are delicious too, by the way. But it didn't stop. And then you're having an apple pie at snack, and you just don't have the recognition at that point. I actually ended up getting on blood pressure medicine. I think I was probably 25, 26 at the time. It's pretty young, I feel like, to get on blood pressure medicine, but I was almost at 300 pounds. I think I was at 296 at my biggest weight. And that is when, like, you kind of look back and see that was my biggest time. And then I had lost 50 pounds through, Atkins or whatever. You'd hit that hardcore strategy, and then sure enough, it'd come back, because you're not, I was never exercising. And then I'm going to guess it was probably right before, I think we knew each other, but we had talked, and I knew you were doing the gym, but was holding back on joining.
What was holding you back, Joe?
I'm a tight ass. So at the time it was money and just the going in and not knowing what you're getting into and making that investment. I don't have that perspective now. Like 8 years is a commitment. That is a lifestyle. I don't even look at it. Like I would not remove that from my life. It's built into my budget, but I'm glad I finally made that leap. But prior to that, I had went through another cycle where I was down to 195 pounds and I did not even look right. I was running, but I wasn't eating good. My fridge was empty. I'd eat wings or nothing. It didn't matter. I wasn't doing things right. So I met my wife, and we get comfortable when we meet people. And here comes the weight back. And then I started at some point started working out at Pulse, and we were getting just into the routine of being in a gym, and then from there it just kind of evolved where it's like, hey, let's talk about what you're eating. What never did before, my lifestyle was I'd always have 12 packs of soda in the fridge, never drank water, never ate fruit. In my mind, from doing the Atkins, so many different stages at different points in life, you don't eat the fruit because the sugar and the carbs, and so that was burned into my mind. I fought Jeff with it many times, and even eating more, these things that just don't sound right. But I started listening to that, and through, over time, very slowly, the weight started coming off. But I still wasn't mentally committed. So again, the injury is a whole different thing, took me out of the game, but everything changed when Jeff had invited me to come and see what this program was. And I knew week one when he said, pick one thing that you think you can do, whether you add it or take it out. That's not hard. I don't drink water. I'm gonna start drinking 80 ounces of water a day. It was tough for 2 weeks. I peed an awful lot, but I got used to it. And it took a while, and at some point you just quit paying attention that you're drinking it. But just to share that, even regardless of my weight or whatever, just replacing drinking soda all the time to water was something I had never done in my life, and still today. There's no soda in my house. It's built in. I mean, I was sure we talk about it being a treat, anymore, or grab not promoting it, but a slice of Casey's pizza and the Diet Mountain Dew tastes really good together, unless it's a beer.
Casey's Taco Pizza is my favorite pizza, so I get
it. Casey's plug.
Yeah. You owe me two free pizzas, Casey's.
Yeah, I've never had the taco pizza, so yeah, if they're going to hook us up, we will have it on the next podcast.
So that takes us, like you said, to the beginning of the transformation program. So now, I would love to hear what you think is different about that opposed to all the ups and downs, because again, we're 2 years into this. Has anything changed? Things have evolved. Nothing's gone. I don't think anything's gone backwards, but
my point of view on what I should be doing has become consistent. I don't think
I guess when I say change, has anything or I guess, are there any signs of you going back? How about that?
No, I don't think the fear ever will leave. Sure. I'm always, every time I put on a shirt or pants, and this is probably because of 25 years of the struggle, is this going to fit? Are these tighter? No. And by the way, Jeff made me throw a lot of clothes away, which I struggled with because, again, I'm a tight ass and I bought those things. But the psychology of getting rid of them was actually a blessing, because you're not, in the back of your mind, you're not like, well, I got that bag of clothes downstairs. If I put on some more weight, I'll still be good. But so that has been a consistent, it's been really, really nice. Even knowing that you still have room to go further than, kind of where I'm at right now, because it's been very stable, which is good. That's what I've been after. It's not, and I haven't been trying. It's built in.
Yeah. And, the clothes thing, I'd venture to say it was more of a safety blanket than it was the being too tight. that I pay. I mean, I agree. There's probably some of that in there.
You know me.
I'm not gonna argue with you. I've seen some areas.
Are you saying I'm frugal?
Perhaps, but hey, he's a financial guy. He should be a little bit frugal.
Yeah.
So smart with his money.
Thank you.
But again, because there's a lot of other people that I've had to work through that too. And it's that safety blanket. Like, what if this isn't the one? What if this is just like every other time? And I'd like to think that this one is different for you. Like I said, we're 2 years running and there's been no signs of you going backwards.
No. And even back to your point on like the safety net, and I'm thinking about it, when you go through, let's say 3 or 4 different pant sizes, and you start putting a little weight on, you reach for that next size, and then you're not thinking about it because now you fit in your clothes. Whereas I don't have those to, that recognition. I don't know what it's going to feel like. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but I don't have that next size to go into to just keep that comfort level going.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just going to be, it's going to hit you in the face pretty quickly that something's changed. Like, okay, I'm slipping a little bit. Let's get back at it. Otherwise, I gotta go shopping.
No, but the consistency's there. And starting from your week 1, yes, do one thing, whether it's take it away, add it in. And then the progressiveness of that was so different than I'm just going to quit eating or I'm going to fast for a day and a half and eat fast, whatever. I mean, I've done everything. And this was easy to do because it was progressive in nature. Didn't feel overwhelming, intrusive, none of that. And you get to make the choices. So it's like, what aren't you doing now that you can add in? Again, fruit. I eat fruit every day. Fruit, I can't tell you how many years I never ate it. So it's got to make you healthier just by consuming it. So
I actually remember a story of you, and this would have been right around when you were starting. You were either going on a baseball tournament, a golf tournament, or something, and you were so excited that you had packed fruit in your cooler. Maybe you were going on that gambling trip. I don't know, somewhere. But you were so excited that you had packed fruit because that was the first time. And I didn't even realize your history with not eating fruit. Like I just, some people just don't eat it, but you were actually actively trying not to eat it.
Yep.
Something so good for you, you were like, I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah.
And then to have somebody come in and be like, hey, it's cool, let's do this. And then you're packing it, you're excited about it. I just remember that. And it was really cool just to watch that evolution of thinking, your mindset changing around, wait, fruit's not the enemy.
Yeah.
Same with probably all the other changes you have made with your mindset. And just listening to you talk, I can just hear it in your voice and you're extending the goal line.
Yep.
Like, I'm never done, but it's not hard. I still have to work at it.
Sure.
So
Very
that's really
tough.
Cool.
And it stops you from, what you're referencing is when we were traveling for my son's ball games.
Okay.
And you don't take that stuff. You're there. You're hungry. Now I don't care what anyone else does, but me, I'm going to hit the gas station up or whatever. And we started bringing our own stuff just to bypass some of that. So that was definitely a bigger deal than what I realized it was.
Yeah. And that was at the beginning of it too. Like before you even knew exactly why you were doing it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Big change.
So now, like I said, being a business owner, I've had the privilege here lately to get to start working with a lot more business owners and seeing how business can affect somebody's health. They do they go hand in hand, or high performing employees. They all have kind of special characteristics where it's going to come first a lot of times. So has being a business owner impacted your personal health at all, or made it challenges along the way?
Well, I'm a unique, pretty unique, because I worked at home for so long, and moving into an office a couple of years ago, there was a big adjustment to having food at your house versus, we'll just talk about food for a second, but just being at your office and having to set that up where you're not. And I'm next door to a really delicious lunch spot, but I can't go. I choose not to go in there unless it's a one-off. But being able to have your stuff at the office, and I do need to restock, by the way. But it definitely helps knowing that you're not going to take some time away in an environment where maybe you need to have extra time there or whatever to run off, and then you're an hour of the day's gone or whatever. But just specifically with that side, I have been better prepared to be in an office setting than I probably would have before, for sure.
Okay. Anything with just the stress of business that would affect your health or decision making?
In mine, it's a there's always a concern for the people that you work with, and when you're handling their money, there's that extra care for them, and that can get stressful. And being exercising and getting a good night's sleep, and hopefully not laying at night worrying about what's going on. All these things that reading, and it's not just been about eating or whatever. The mental, like you're bringing it up now, the mental side is equally as important as the physical side, and all that definitely helps for sure.
Okay, awesome. What about the mental side has been different since doing the 12-week transformation or just going through this transformation program? Anything mentally different?
100%. And going through it, the first part was all about figuring out your habits, and then it's started becoming attitude, identifying the way you're saying things and how you're saying them. Now, honey, I love you. She won't probably see this. Everyone else gets the good guy sometimes, but when you look at how you're carrying yourself, and people can kind of identify your language, it definitely makes you look back in and say, okay, how do I say things differently, or just have a different mindset about how you're going to go about it. So that has been one of and I'm naturally anxious ridden and stress. So this has been another blessing for me. I think I've mentioned before, counseling. This is a form of counseling for me, where you can get that kind of support in a different way. It's not all about medicine or those traditional methods that the counselors use. This was a totally different, the lies in your head and what you're telling.
Story we tell ourselves,
our mindset,
and they still talk to us. But you got to identify those and realize that that's Jeff and I have talked plenty about my stories, and is that true? Well, maybe not, but yeah. I'm talking myself into it, by God.
Yeah, even going back to prior to 2016, before you joined Pulse, and just the Atkins attempts and other diet attempts, the stories that you had in your head, are they still there? And how loud are they today?
They're not loud.
Good.
Other areas are louder than, those things. But I don't know, just the overall approach on, life is different. And I don't know, you go through things for so long, you don't ever expect or envision a change, and then here it is, and now it's become normal. That was a shell of who I am now.
Yeah. The mental side, the mindset stuff, I know you on a business level, a personal level, and in just a gym level, and to get to watch all three of those phases, of your life change, I think pretty dramatically. Watching where you're at professionally now is unbelievably amazing compared to where you were and the way you thought about your business.
Yep.
And the same thing with, nutrition, the way you think about it now compared to when you started. Like, fruit's bad. Yeah. You'd laugh at that shit now.
It's funny.
The thing that you told yourself that was a story, but now that's like a ridiculous statement and you'd find it humorous.
Well, it's unhealthy. I mean, it's unhealthy, like not eating fruit,
but again, so many other people think the same thing.
Sure.
So I hope somebody, if you're out there and you're listening, you don't eat fruit. Firsthand, right here, non-fruit eater, 3 years strong.
I'm going to have a banana when I get home.
A whole banana.
Maybe two. One today, one later, two. I don't know.
So, like I said, it's been amazing getting to sit, go through this journey with you on all three of those levels. So I'm just appreciative that I've been able to help and / just be a part of it. Tina, what question? I know you had a couple questions for him.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to dive in the mindset, which you kind of already answered that on, but I just wanted you to kind of reflect on that piece again. You're sitting here saying that was a shell of yourself. Sitting here today, however many, years back that you can think, where would you have ever imagined yourself here, even just talking to us today about the transformation that you've been through versus what you were then? What does that feel like today? Like, did you believe that that was even possible, or was that story so strong that you're like, nope, this is just it. This is just where I am?
Great question. I feel like I was going through the motions and prior to, and a lot of this does go to you guys, Jeff and Tina in the gym, because there was, sometimes you're walking around and you're doing things and you're not as confident in yourself as some people maybe think you are. And I perceive that about my own, professional side. Like I wasn't worthy of some of the successes, and Jeff knows this, is like just being worthy and always grateful, always humble, but worthy of the success levels. And I am able to grab onto that now where there's no way, we'll go 7 years ago that I've ever been able to grab a hold and said, I'm deserving of this. It was, you're not good enough, and sometimes even like with my wife, I used to think, oh, how am I so deserving? Well, of course I'm, I'll just say it. I deserve
Look at that shirt
it.
you're wearing. Of course you do.
Yeah, I mean, she bought it, by the way. I hope everyone likes it. Academy Sports, I think. We got more plugs.
Wow.
Dang. They have sponsorships all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
I think they call that imposter syndrome is what you had.
Yeah.
You have referenced that. And I'm thankful to work through that because I have definitely overcome a lot of that. And there's a lot of pride. And you have to realize like who you are is who you are. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to run their life, their business different. And you shouldn't be anyone else other than yourself. And it's taken me a long time to get there. And we've talked about going back into grade school. As crazy as this is Jeff has made me, I guess, asked, or however you want to say it. And I've had to dive back into some painful grade school memories of being bullied and, that have, affected my self-confidence. And even, I started seeing it come out a little bit more in high school, but those are some times where you just don't feel good about yourself, and then you take it out on others, and so you're constantly like putting that thought about who you are onto other people. So I don't know, it's just diving back that far though. It's hurtful to look back, and then like Jeff said, it's almost laughable, the things that I would let get to me. But we're kids, and
Well, that's the good part is when you get to laugh at it, then you're getting over it, or you are over it, and you're healed from it. Once you can laugh at the devil,
He runs away.
he runs away.
Yep.
We might know that one.
Yeah.
But it's true though. So then just sitting here today, like how does this feel? Like, how do you feel today? What are you most proud of about all of the changes you've made, about that mindset work that you did? What are you most proud of? That
it's been consistent, and it's the lifestyle. It's not a phase. It's not going through. I don't even recognize the diet is what you eat. It's not an activity, and it was always an activity. Like I'm on a diet. No, the diet is what you consume. And I've become very observant, and I'm not always. I mean, we all fall off and do this and that, but you've got to come back to where you're consistent and knowing. And Jeff's, what'd you do this weekend? And I did this, and I did. Well, did you get back on the train? Yeah. Okay, then it's not a problem.
Win.
Yes,
that's the
it's
win.
Not a problem, and that is probably the biggest win is knowing that you can fall off. Like I'm going to go to this concert tonight, and I'm going to have a hell of a good time, but be right back. Well, then I got guys weekend at the lake, but next week, the week after that, I'm back. No, I mean the week. No, I'm seriously no.
But maybe is that something you used to tell yourself? If you had that many events and things coming up, if you were following a typical diet, as you said, like it was I have to do this. This isn't even fun. Would you do like, oh well, I've got the concert, I've got a guys weekend, we've got vacation. I'll get started again in August. I'll get started again in September.
100%. And you never start because there's always something. Yeah. And now it's just getting back to go have fun. Go do what you want to do. Just get back to the routine that's going to keep you. I mean, I stepped on the scale this morning just to make sure, and sure enough, it's right where it's been for the last, year, however long, when we got to that place where things have plateaued. But it's like, all right, and there's always that. Okay, it's still there.
Still got
I think that's just the fear.
I don't believe you.
There's a smudge on that. No, but that would be the biggest thing is the just knowing that it is built in now and not a phase.
Yeah, it's not a diet. It's not just for a little bit. It's forever.
Yeah, I want to and honestly, what you guys are doing is for so many people. I still, we're all around so many people, and we just observe and whatever. This is forever. This is for so many people, and whether it's about your weight or just how you're viewing yourself or whatever, this is definitely a very broad spectrum that you guys are covering for sure.
This has been awesome talking with you about, your whole journey and you sharing it. I really appreciate it. Got one last question for you. What would you say to somebody that was maybe on the fence about giving us a call to check in about the 12-week transformation?
Oh man, it can't be it's not one thing. I think the one thing, the transformation, it works. You have to be committed. You can't just dabble. If you're not internally saying, I need to do this and I'm committed to doing it, I would hold off. But if you're on the fence and you can commit to, and again, we're committing to a progressive adjustment. We're not committing to anything more than that. I would say make the call, get in here. And in addition to that, the environment that you guys provide, and I think you could interview me and the 100 other, however many clients that you guys have. And I think the theme, even when I'm out, is the community that you guys have developed is awesome. You definitely feel like you're part of something bigger than just 5 people in that pod at the gym. It is, go to the Christmas party and you're seeing all these other people that you don't even see because they're on different times, and we all have the same feeling about what it's like to be in that gym. So that's pretty cool.
The Pulse family, you mean?
Pulse family.
Yeah.
And you have your shirts and your brand is out there. It's not unnoticeable. You got people honking in town because you're doing some scavenger hunt or whatever, and people on Facebook going, why are these people boom. But that is the fun part of going to the gym. There's nothing that is the same. It's all, you guys make it very fun, and it's a good environment for anyone that's looking to try something different, because it is different.
Yeah, I think we're different than any other place anywhere close by. I think our experience is totally different than anywhere you're going to get it. So, well, Joe, I really appreciate you sharing your story, and thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Not just the interview, but life. Thanks.